Ethan looked at Lily the same way he had seen men look at women on TV. "Lily, please," he said softly. "Let's do that thing again, the one the man and woman did in the video. I like it. It's so nice." Tears welled up in Lily's eyes as she shook her head. "No, brother Ethan, I won't do that again. It hurt so much. I never want to do it in my life again." Are you wondering how these children reached such a point? Why is Ethan asking Lily to do something so unspeakable? How did it get here? And where are their parents in all of this? Stay with me as we uncover the heartbreaking story of Lily and Ethan. 9-year-old Ethan and his 7-year-old sister Lily were often left alone at home. Their parents, Mr. and Mrs. Carter, were hard-working professionals. Ethan and Lily had grown used to being by themselves. Though it was far from something they enjoyed, they tried to entertain themselves with board games or drawing, but the TV always seemed to lure them in. One particular evening, Ethan was watching a late-night show featuring bright lights, loud music, and adults laughing and talking in a way that seemed odd to him. The scenes moved quickly, filled with excitement and intrigue. Curiously, he called out to Lily, who was in the other room. "Lily, come here. Look at this." Ethan's voice echoed down the hallway. Intrigued, Lily rushed into the living room and sat beside her brother. The two stared wide-eyed at the screen, mesmerized by the flashing colors and fast-paced music. They didn't understand much of what was being said, but it seemed fun, so they kept watching. "Why are they doing that?" Lily asked innocently. Her forehead creased in confusion. She didn't understand the content, but felt it was different from the shows they usually watched. "I don't know," Ethan replied. "Maybe it's something fun that grown-ups do." The scenes continued, leaving their young minds confused yet curious. They didn't know it yet, but the images they were watching weren't meant for their eyes. They were unknowingly stepping into a world far more complex than their understanding. Days passed after Ethan and Lily had watched that strange TV show, but the images remained fresh in their minds. The curiosity planted within them grew, soon becoming something they couldn't ignore. One afternoon, while their parents were at work, Ethan looked at Lily, his face lit up with excitement. "Lily, do you remember that thing we saw on TV?" he asked quietly, a mischievous glint in his eyes. Lily's face tensed as the unsettling images crept back into her thoughts. "I don't know, brother Ethan. It didn't feel right," Lily replied, her voice hesitant. But Ethan had already made up his mind. "Let's try it," he said with a playful smile, unaware of the weight of his words. To him, it seemed like just another harmless adventure. Lily frowned, feeling uneasy. "No, brother Ethan. Mom said we shouldn't copy things we see on TV," she said softly. But Ethan, oblivious to the implications, persisted. "Come on, Lily. It's just pretend. No one will know." Lily hesitated, unsure of what to do. Ethan added, "Remember when you went outside that day, even though Mom and Dad told us not to? No one found out. But if you don't do this with me, I'll tell Dad." Lily panicked, not knowing what to do. Neither of them fully understood what they were about to do, but Ethan's words made her feel trapped. Finally, she agreed. She took a deep breath and nodded. "Okay, brother Ethan, let's do it." In that moment, the curiosity that had always driven Ethan and Lily to explore together took a dark turn. Unlike the sweet adventures they usually shared, this time something was different. As they entered the room and lay on the bed, Lily felt a sharp pain. She screamed, running into the living room. "Ah, this is weird, brother Ethan. I never want to do this again in my life," she cried, clutching her chest as tears streamed down her face. The pain was unbearable, far worse than she had imagined. Ethan, on the other hand, didn't understand why Lily was so upset and still wanted to continue, unaware of how terribly wrong the situation had become. But Lily's heart raced with fear, and she deeply knew that this wasn't right. This wasn't like the harmless adventures they used to share. This time, there was no laughter, no joy, only pain and deep regret. Lily's discomfort grew with each passing day. She could see the changes in Ethan's behavior, and it scared her. He had become more stubborn, more insistent, and Lily could feel that he was no longer the playful brother she once knew. The innocence that had once defined their bond seemed to have slipped away. One afternoon, when their mother came home briefly to pick up some documents, Lily felt an overwhelming need to speak up. She couldn't bear the silence any longer. "Mom, can I talk to you?" she asked hesitantly, her voice trembling as she approached her mother. Mrs. Carter, distracted by phone calls and her growing to-do list, barely looked up. "Not now, Lily. I'm in a hurry," she replied, juggling calls and glancing at her watch. Lily stood there for a moment, her heart sinking. Her mother sighed, clearly stressed. "Later, darling. Be a good girl, all right?" She barely accepted her daughter's compassion as she once again stepped out the door. Lily's tiny voice faded into the background, drowned by the noise of her mother's busy life. She retreated to her room, tears streaming down her cheeks. Her heart ached, but she felt invisible in a home that was supposed to be a safe place. All she wanted was for her mother to hear her, to understand the weight of her pain. One afternoon, after yet another attempt by Ethan to ask Lily to imitate an inappropriate scene from the show they had watched, Lily couldn't take it anymore. She ran out of the house, her small body shaking with fear and confusion. confusion. She didn't know where to go. She found herself standing at the door of their kind neighbor, Aunt Grace. "What happened, Lily?" Aunt Grace asked, kneeling down to meet her at eye level. Lily couldn't hold it in any longer. She burst into uncontrollable tears, sobbing as she spilled everything: Ethan's request, the growing fear inside her, and the discomfort. Aunt Grace wrapped Lily in a comforting hug. "You did the right thing by telling me," she said softly, her voice warm. "You don't have to carry this alone. I'm here for you, and we'll figure this out." Lily clung to Aunt Grace, finally feeling a sense of relief. The weight that had been pressing on her chest seemed to lift slightly. "I'm scared," Lily whispered. "What should I do, Aunt?" Aunt Grace smiled gently and wiped her tears. "Don't worry, my dear. I'll help you. You're safe now." The parents were shocked, and at first they were in defense mode. "Ethan wouldn't do something like that," Mr. Carter said, his voice firm with disbelief. "Maybe they misunderstood what they saw." Mrs. Carter tried to downplay the seriousness of the situation, but Aunt Grace was firm. "Children see what they see, and they're given enough material to make sense of it," she said. "You've been so focused on work that you've forgotten to see what your children are watching. This is a warning," she added, her voice steady and filled with concern. Mr. and Mrs. Carter were silent, realizing that their actions, although unintentional, had made their children vulnerable to dangers they hadn't even considered. Accepting this was not easy for them, but they knew they had to change. Carter took immediate action to correct the wrong. He decided to monitor the children's screen time, ensuring that they only watched age-appropriate shows and engaged in suitable activities. They were also encouraged to talk about anything they had seen on TV, helping them understand their thoughts and feelings. In addition to these changes, Carter arranged for both Ethan and Lily to speak with a counselor. They knew their children needed guidance to understand their emotions. As they recovered from their experiences, the family made a conscious effort to spend more quality time together. In the evenings, Mrs. Carter would read stories to Ethan and Lily before bed, while Mr. Carter kept them engaged in fun games. Gradually, the siblings started laughing again, rediscovering their bond through positive, healthy activities. It was a journey, but the Carters were committed to ensuring their children grew up in a safe and nurturing environment, free from the dangers of inappropriate content. Months passed, and the Carters became a more attentive and present family. Mrs. Carter made a conscious decision to reduce her work hours, making her family a priority. Mr. Carter, who had always been busy with work, started dedicating his weekends to spending time with Ethan and Lily. Under this new attention and love, the children blossomed. Ethan and Lily felt more confident knowing they could approach their parents about anything on their minds. The painful silence that had once filled their home was replaced by laughter, love, and the warmth of a family that was learning how to truly be there for one another. One evening, as they were all sitting together playing a board game, Lily turned to her parents with a thoughtful expression. "Thank you for listening to me now," she said softly. Her words, though simple, were filled with meaning. They brought tears to Mrs. Carter's eyes, and in that moment, the family understood the true importance of their relationship. The greatest gift they could give each other was their attention, love, and presence in one another's lives. This was a new beginning for the Carters, based on stronger bonds and a deeper understanding of what truly matters. This is the end of our story. This story teaches us that the greatest gift we can give our children is our attention and love. Children should feel that their words are being heard and understood, especially when they are trying to share something important. Change begins by listening to their voice. "Doctor, how can you tell me that my 11-year-old daughter is pregnant?" Lily's father asked in frustration. "Let us take our daughter to another hospital, because it is clear that this doctor does not know what he is talking about." Lily said, "Daddy and Mummy, there is no need to take me to another hospital. I think I am pregnant because I have been sleeping with my brother Ethan for more than 2 years, as a result of my mother's negligence and whatever my brother and lesson teacher did to me 1 year ago. And I believe that my mother was fully aware that I was sleeping with my brother, and what that lesson teacher did to me too. You will be shocked to hear this story, and your love and support forced me to make part 2. There was a little girl named Lily who lived with her parents, Mr. Alex and Mrs. Carter, and her 12-year-old brother Ethan. Often, both of them were left alone at home. Their parents, Mr. Alex and Mrs. Carter, were hard-working professionals. Ethan and Lily got used to living alone, although it was not good for them at all. They tried to entertain themselves with board games or drawing, but TV always tempted them, and Lily used to go to tuitions to study. When it was time for her tuition, she went to her room, and Ethan got busy watching TV shows. When Lily started lessons, Jason insisted on staying in Lily's room so that Lily could fully concentrate on her studies without distractions. One day, Jason started kissing and romancing Lily while his parents were not around, and he even took off Lily's trousers. "Why are you taking off my trousers?" Lily asked innocently. "Lily, this is also part of the lessons that your mother has paid for. It will help you to quickly change your dull brain, improve your academic performance, and become very smart and excellent," Jason replied falsely. "But does my mother know about this?" she asked innocently. "Yes, she totally knows," Jason said, and he started to put his finger inside the innocent girl's body, which made her scream in pain. "Uncle Jason, please stop, Lily said. And Jason finished what he was doing to Lily, and just as he was about to leave, he said, Lily, if you tell your parents what just happened, you will die immediately and go to hellfire. Do you want to die and go to hellfire? Jason asked. Lily said, no, so don't tell anyone what happened. Jason said this as he was leaving the premises 2 days later. Jason continued the same thing with the little girl, and Lily couldn't hide it anymore. Because sometimes her brother Ethan used to do that with Lily after watching the show on TV, and then her tuition teacher used to do wrong things with her. I need to tell my mother today because I don't think she is aware of the pain I am going through every day, Lily said, as she entered her mother's room where her mother was having an online meeting with her colleagues. Mummy, I want to complain to you about a very serious thing, she said. My princess, not now. I am in an important meeting right now. I will talk to you after some time. Lily sadly went from her mother's room to her room and started crying. After an hour, she returned to her mother's room. Mummy, is your meeting over now, my princess? What did you want to tell me? Carter asked while scrolling her phone. Mummy is about my lesson teacher. I don't like her. It is very painful, Mummy, and I would like you to change her immediately, Lily said with teary eyes. Lily, if you have any complaints about your lesson teacher, I don't want to hear it, Carter said. Lily, I would never do that. I think you want a lesson teacher who is as dull as you are. Lily, get out of my room right now and do your homework and stop bothering me, she shouted at Lily. Mummy, please listen to me. Lee, if you don't go away from me, I will slap you right now. Lily returned to her father sadly. My love, I told you that if you have any complaints about your lesson teacher, you should complain to your mother because I am very busy right now. Lily became very sad and helpless and felt that her own parents had abandoned her, so she kept her pain to herself, believing that her parents were fully aware of what the lesson teacher and brother were doing to her. So she continued to bear the pain, and her lesson teacher continued to spoil her without the knowledge of her careless parents who were busy with their work and professional life. After a few months, Lily started liking what the lesson teacher was doing to her and stopped complaining as she did not feel the pain anymore. Sometimes her brother and sometimes her lesson teacher continued this act, and now whenever the lesson teacher comes, Lily would remind him of this before starting to teach him. One day, her parents were not present, so Jason forgot to lock Lily's door, as he always does. Lily's 12-year-old brother Ethan walked into Lily's room without telling them and was stunned to see his little sister kissing Jason, Lily, and Uncle Jason. What are you doing? He shouted, Ethan said, and Jason quickly dragged him into Lily's room, locked the door, and forced him to sleep with his little sister Lily. After Ethan slept innocently with his sister, Jason said, Ethan, if you tell your parents what you did to your sister, you will die immediately and go to hellfire. And Ethan got very scared, so he couldn't tell his parents what he did to his sister, and they kept everything a secret. After 3 months, Jason went to an unknown city after spoiling those innocent kids. That day, his parents were not present. Only he and his brother were at home. So Ethan went to his sister's room and requested Lily and said, we will watch TV and do the same thing again, which I do to you. Ethan, get out of my room right now, otherwise I will tell everything to Mommy and Daddy, Lily said. Mommy and Daddy already know because Mommy instructed the former lesson teacher to teach you so that you can become very smart and intelligent. Ethan said, please get out of my room. I don't want to do this, and I hate it, Lily said. Then suddenly Lily got sick and told her mother that she is feeling a strange sensation which she can't understand, and she is also vomiting. So her mother hurriedly took her to the hospital, and when the doctor did the test, the results showed that Lily was pregnant, and her mother began to argue with the doctor. Doctor, how can you tell me that my 11-year-old virgin daughter is pregnant? Carter asked anxiously. Madam, I did not say your daughter is pregnant, but the results show, the doctor replied. Mrs. Carter called her husband to tell him what the doctor had said about their 11-year-old daughter Lily. So he drove wildly to the hospital, and when he arrived and saw the results, he asked the doctor to repeat the test, which the doctor did without hesitation, and the results still indicated that Lily was pregnant. Doctor, it is clear that you do not know what you are doing. How can you tell me that my 11-year-old daughter is pregnant? Lily's father asked. Sir, it is very possible for a 11-year-old girl to get pregnant, as girls usually enter puberty between the ages of 9 and 12, and most girls start menstruating around the ages of 11 to 13, which indicates that their reproductive system is mature enough for pregnancy. Dear, please let us take Lily to another hospital because I don't understand what the doctors are doing. Lily's father said, Daddy, there is no need to take me to another hospital. I think I am pregnant because I have been sleeping with my brother Ethan for more than 2 years because of my mother's negligence and the lesson teacher assigned to me 1 year ago. and I think my mother was fully aware that I was sleeping with my brother and what that lesson teacher did to me. When I was in pain because of that lesson teacher, I wanted to complain to my mother so that she could change him, but she did not listen to me. Instead, she kept yelling at me and ignored my screams. Lily said, "Lily, are you saying that you have been sleeping with your brother for more than 2 years without my knowledge?" Lily's father asked, "Daddy, I remember 3 years ago when I was in pain and came to you as my father to complain about what that lesson teacher did to me. And Daddy, you kept telling me to go to my mother and complain about whatever my lesson teacher did to me because you were too busy, and if I went to my mother, she would yell at me because I was slacking off. Daddy, when you and Mommy were rejecting me while I was in pain, what were you expecting? Take a look at the result of your negligence today. I hate being the parents of you both, and I regret it," Lily said while walking away from her parents. When they reached home, her parents consoled her and started asking her and her brother what the lesson teacher and you had done to her. And Lily told everything that Jason and brother had done to her, as well as the pain she had suffered. Silently, Lily's parents couldn't stop crying and wailing. "Please forgive me, my daughter. I didn't know what that Jason beast did to you. I assumed you wanted to complain about how he scolded or disciplined you. I wish I knew I could listen to you. I blame myself for everything that happened to you and your brother because I was busy with my job and prioritized my job over my children. Please forgive me, daughter, and I promise to take full responsibility for your pregnancy." Mabel apologized, and tears rolled down her eyes. "My princess, I apologize for failing to fulfill my responsibility as a father and prioritizing my business over you. Please forgive me, and I will do everything in my power to make sure you get completely free from this mess. I promise you that I will leave no stone unturned until the beast who ruined your life spends the rest of his life in jail." Lily's father apologized, and she accepted his apology. Lily and Ethan apologized to him, explaining that they didn't know what they were doing because there was no one to tell them if it was right or wrong. Their parents eventually forgave them. 3 days later, Lily had a miscarriage, and when her parents took her to the hospital for a medical checkup, the results showed that she was medically fine, which made her parents very happy. At night, their parents had a very important discussion about Lily and Ethan. "Carter, I am considering moving Ethan abroad immediately because allowing Ethan and Lily to stay in this house, especially when we are not around, increases the chances of them sleeping together. You know this feeling is natural and sometimes uncontrollable," Lily's father said. "Yes, you are right. I thought about it recently. But who will he stay with abroad? Will he stay with my siblings or yours?" Lily's mother asked her sister because all her children are boys. A week and a few days later, they transferred Ethan abroad. Lily and her mother then became best friends. Several months later, one of Lily's mother's colleagues invited her to his brother's wedding, and on the wedding day, Lily insisted on going to the wedding with her mother, leaving her mother no choice but to carry her in her arms. So when they arrived at the wedding venue, everything was going well until the groom arrived, and the groom was Jason, the lesson teacher who almost ruined Lily and her brother's life. When Lily saw him, she quickly patted her mother. "Mummy, look, Uncle Jason, the lesson teacher you and Daddy were looking for." "Where?" Lily's mother asked desperately. "Mummy, he's the one wearing the wedding dress," Lily said, and her mother didn't recognize Jason's face right away, so she moved closer to see him clearly, and she recognized his face and quickly remembered that the groom's name was Jason, so she took her daughter and fled in her car. Then she called her husband. "Hello, Alex, where are you? I have seen Jason, the lesson teacher we were looking for. He is the one I told you about." "Alex? Where exactly?" Lily's father asked desperately, and then he told him the address. Lily's father then quickly called his uncle, who was the divisional police officer DPO. And the DPO already knew about Lily's case because Lily's father told him everything. So the DPO sent 4 police officers along with Lily's father to the wedding venue. When they reached the event center, Jason was about to put the wedding ring on his future wife's finger when Lily's father, the police officer, and 3 army men barged into the wedding hall. "Hey, Mr. Man, put that ring down or I will shoot you," Lily's father said. He angrily moved closer to Jason with a long gun. "Jason, or whatever your name is, you had the guts to ruin the lives of my 2 innocent children, and you think I will let you go scot-free? You should have asked who I am before ruining my children's lives. And if it weren't for God whom I fear, I could have told the boys to burn you alive immediately and no one would have even coughed. However, I will make sure that you spend the rest of your miserable life in jail," Lily's father said. "Sir, excuse me, what did he do to your children?" Jason's would-be wife asked. "Miss, you will know soon. This animal knows what he has done. Officer, take this animal away." After this, they took Jason away, and the news of the marriage became the talk of the town. When Jason was taken to the court, and in the court, Alex, Lily's father, told the whole story of what this animal did to his 2 little children, and then Jason was finally sentenced to life imprisonment, while Lily and her family started living happily. Please, if you watch this story from start to finish, please leave a comment about what you learned, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and turn on the notification bell so you can be notified when I post a new educational story. If you want part 3, please give 10,000 likes to the video.